We are back with our Service by Medallion feature story and rejoined by our Kiara B. Jeannie.
Kiara brings us a story of a girl that we covered a lot during her tenure at Bishop O'Dowd. Aubrey, when the state basketball tournament was canceled in March, Kennedy Johnson's chance to return to the big stage and fight for a ring was stripped. The Johnson family was devastated, but for Kennedy, the disappointment did not compare to when Kennedy was struck by a virus when she was just 9 years old.
When the buzzer went off, it was almost like surreal for us because we were going back for another state game, and it was just crazy. It was just a crazy feeling, and knowing Salesian was also a good team, and it was just amazing that we won, and we all ran on the court in a big group huddle and all fell on top of each other. It was just a really good feeling just knowing we had another chance to get a state ring.
As the second seed, the O'Dowd Dragons upset the #1 seeded Salesian Pride to advance to the state championship game. Back-to-back appearances for Johnson.
We were going to play Rosary again, and honestly, it was just another game to redeem ourselves from last state game. And you know, Rosary is a good team. Last game we played them in Arizona, we beat them by 2 or 3. So we knew that it was going to be a tough game, but we had confidence because we knew we could beat them. And so we were just ready to play and get that ring.
The Dragons were excited at a chance to avenge the previous season's loss to Rosary Academy in the state game. A shot at redemption, a shot at a state title. And then COVID-19 happened. It was the day we were supposed to leave for the state game at school. We had our bags and everything packed and ready to go. And then first period, we got the announcement saying women's and boys varsity basketball teams to go meet in the gym. And that's when they told us that our season was canceled. And so it was heartbreaking. Everyone was just crying. It was just a sad day for all of us, just knowing how hard we worked to get to this moment and just being told our season was canceled and ended. It just hit.
When she got the news that they weren't playing, I mean, we were all devastated. She took it really hard that night. She was in her room and kind of like just staying away from folks, and it was really hard. It was just like, wow, you're going to state again, and here's your chance to possibly get a ring. And who would know, you know, 2 seasons in a row, 2 years in a row, you guys would go to state. And just to have it taken from you just that quickly is just really disappointing.
The whole family was crushed to see Kennedy's dream of winning a state title taken away. The Johnson family was upset and heartbroken, but they understood and respected the decision made by the CIF to keep its athletes and fans safe. After all, the situation was eerily similar to what Kennedy went through as a child.
So when I was about 9 or 10, I caught H1N1. So I was in the hospital for 4 days, and that was killing like a lot of little children and people of all ages, but mainly it was targeting like young people.
H1N1, also known as the swine flu, is an influenza virus that broke out in 2009 with a reported 60.8 million cases and 12,470 deaths in the U.S. according to the CDC.
One morning she got up and she came to me and she just said she felt kind of tired, and she coughed, and when she coughed she fell to the ground. So I'm like, this doesn't seem right, this doesn't look right, especially because she has asthma.
Kennedy was rushed to the hospital as her symptoms worsened. She could barely walk to the car.
Basically I was in the hospital because one of my lungs turned like basically black and there was no air, so I had to be put on a breathing mask, and that was really scary because it was a deadly virus, so I didn't know if I would be able to make it. And I also had asthma on top of that too, which was another like breathing problem. And so it was scary for all of us. You know, me being a kid, I didn't really know how serious it was, but with my mom, my family, and my dad, they took it really hard because they didn't know like if I was gonna come out alive or not. So yeah, I know how serious like catching a virus can be, especially a deadly one, and how people need to take it seriously and like take precautions to keep everyone safe and healthy.
I remember one night she had to use the restroom, and so they brought something for her to use next to her hospital bed. And so she's telling me at night, like, I have to go. I go over to help her, and her mask comes off her face, and then she starts saying, I can't breathe. She's telling me she can't breathe, and I just panicked, and we're screaming and yelling for hospital staff to come, and they came and put her breathing apparatus back on her. So as a mother, it was just a scary time. I was so scared for her, and we honestly thought we might lose her with the doctor just saying, like, there's nothing we can do at the first hospital we were at.
After being treated at 2 different hospitals, Kennedy made a full recovery. And 10 years later, she's not only healthy, but one of the best high school girls basketball players in the nation. Kennedy does not take her health for granted, especially during this pandemic.
I definitely take it serious because me catching H1N1, I do not want to go through that again and put my family in that type of situation. So my family and I, we definitely take it seriously with putting our mask on, washing our hands, social distancing, everything that comes with being safe. We also think about our grandparents and other people who are at high risk. And so I don't want to be able to put them at risk or any other people like that. So we take it very seriously for our health and also the health of others.
Kennedy spent a lot of time at home with her family this summer. She is starting her senior year at Bishop O'Dowd online.
It's definitely new. Like, this is something I never experienced before. Like, I never would have thought I would be going into my senior year doing online learning. So it's definitely new for me, but I've adjusted already. And I've kind of told myself to just like think about the positives, and you never know what's going to come, so focus on the present. So that's what I've been doing, just being grateful for what I have now and just making the most out of that situation.
This past June, the Hoops star verbally committed to play basketball for UC Santa Barbara. The recruitment process is very difficult during the pandemic, but Johnson couldn't be happier with her decision.
It affected my recruiting process a lot. Like, I didn't know, if you asked me like last year if I would be accepting my scholarship and committing this early, I probably would have said no. So it definitely like affected it a lot in terms of getting new scholarships and being able to play on the circuit and AAU teams this summer. So it definitely was challenging, a little bit frustrating being in 2021. We're like often put in the most difficult situation because of COVID-19 in terms of recruiting. So it was difficult, but I knew I was grateful enough to have the scholarships I did and to make out of it what I did. So yeah, I'm happy with what I did, my decision so far, yeah.
And she's excited and she's ready. I think that's what's keeping her going. The fact that she knows that even though high school has kind of been taken away, or my senior year didn't turn out to be how I wanted it to be, it's not over yet. There's still time to see if she goes back to school or if they go back to school, but also just the fact that there are bigger and brighter things too waiting for her. So she's super excited, and that's keeping her going.
COVID-19 took away Kennedy's shot at a state title. It took away high school milestones like prom and the start of senior year. But it does make her grateful for all she has.
It made me reflect to be grateful for what you have and to never miss out on opportunities that are in front of you, because you never know when it's going to be taken away, like your senior year or your last AAU season or possibly high school season. So if anything, I've learned to always be grateful for what you have in the moment and to never regret anything you do. Like, go at everything you do with full force and put 100% into it, because you never know if it's ever going to be your last. So that's what I would take out of it.
Kennedy Johnson knows more than most what a virus can do. Her experience gives her a unique perspective on the current pandemic and how to cope with all the uncertainty.
Yeah! Free throw.
Kennedy misses basketball, her teammates, and coaches. Her mom told me she catches Kennedy staying up super late watching film of old games. She's eager to get back on the court for the Dragons, but grateful she's in good health and treats every day like it's a gift.
All right, very good. Thank you for that, Kiara.